So the green flag is waved at the back. A 20-minute race for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship is about to get underway then. The red lights go on and they go out now, and we are off and running. It's a good start from Paul Cook on pole position. John Brown in the yellow car from the third row of the grid has made a brilliant start as well. The M3 trying to get up on the inside of Paul Cook into Oulton corner on turn number 1, but he's not managed to make that stick. That would have been an absolutely brilliant start. Into the pits as well as come the number 55 car, Raheem Ballou. So it looks like he's not been able to take the start of the race. He's just beneath our commentary box now here in the pit lane. So down through Cascades they go. It's Paul Cook leading. I think it was John Brown that was up into second place as they made their way through Cascades for the first time. There you can see the William Lake car, I think that is. Yes, it is. The drive from Louth in his E46 compact. That's the ex-Stephen Schreinkart car. He's making his way up the order. But it's Paul Cook leading, John Brown second, Stuart Pywell third. And it looks like it's Charlie Dark in fourth position then as they work their way around the Shallows corner for the first time in this race. Probably get something like 11 laps out of this, assuming we don't have any safety car interventions during the course of it. We'll try and pick up as well who's leading in the respective classes as well. Cavan Granger was the first of the qualifiers in Class M2, but there's a change for third place. Is it on the inside? Charlie Duck trying to get up on the inside of Stuart Pywell there, but he couldn't quite make that work. And menacing him behind them as well in the M235i is Ben Pearson, who's won races before in that car. He's certainly one to watch. So they're heading through Druids for the first time. The top two, Paul Cook, number 26, John Brown, number 7, from 5th on the grid up to second place with a great start. Will he be able to hold on to that is the question. The rest of the field filtering their way through Druids, coming towards the end of the first lap of the race.
There's certainly some collective brake horsepower amongst this little lot, isn't there, as the first few then reach Lodge Corner for the first time. Side by side across the grid, hatchings for that scrap for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all together. And winning the fight for the time being is Charlie Dark's number 135 car, but he is under massive pressure from in behind the 76 of Stuart Pywell. Pywell going to be sharing a car later on in the day, but lots of different lines being used on the run into Old Hall Corner, and then that run down the avenue just over the little lip, which actually means that Cascades is out of your vision until it bursts into sight, slotting through, threading their way through Denton's, but they're already down at Island Bend, and the race leader, number 26, Paul Cook.
Okay, so we've got Paul Cook leading, John Brown in second place, then it's Charlie Dark in third position. There's Cavan Granger. He's a little bit on his own at the moment in 7th place, but he's leading in Class M2 from Aidan Vilku in second. Bit of a wobble on there for the Charlie Dark car, the Crown Paints liveried car with the sort of paint swatches all over the side of it. And perhaps lost him a bit of momentum, and it'll be the Ben Pearson car just behind it that tries to get on terms. Those two similar cars there, the M235i's. So something a bit different from the M3s that really dominate in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, certainly at the sharp end traditionally. But Pearson had a win at Thruxton last year. He's had a couple of second places so far this year. And Charlie Dark trying to emulate the success that he has had in the past. Coming up towards the end of the second lap, Paul Cook making good on his lead by the looks of it. John Brown now being caught by Charlie Dark for second place.
Yeah, and 25 Ben Pearson, who had a long look up the inside of Charlie Dark's car on that very short straight between the second bit of Hislops and the right-hander at Knickerbrook. Lights flashing, a change for second position as Dark just makes, well, easy meat really of John Brown. It's almost as if Brown didn't have any pace at all coming through Deer Leap, but he definitely did. It's just that straight line speed of Charlie Dark's car, number 135, made short work of it and up to second position. New fastest lap as well. That's hardly a surprise to Charlie Dark at 151.3.
Yeah, that's right. So he's certainly on a mission, and now Ben Pearson following him through as well. He moves up into third place. Down to fourth goes John Brown. Of course, he started in 5th position, was very fast off the line, but not able to hold on to that position. Stuart Pywell is going to be the next driver that tries to get through. And then you've got Stephen Schweikart, who won the previous race at Silverstone on the national circuit there a few weeks ago. He's there in 6th, so he's looking to make up ground as well. That second race at Silverstone was a bit of a race of attrition. Paul Cook was among those that didn't make it to the flag there, if I recall correctly. And so that did leave the door open for Stephen Schweikart, but he did have the pace there at Silverstone that weekend, but seemingly not quite on it here so far today. His best lap at 1:53, as we've said. Charlie Dark's done 1:51.3 so far in this race, but it's good to see this year that we do have quite a competitive Class M1 field. That hasn't necessarily always been the case for the last couple of seasons, so it's good to see a good number of cars here. Looks like John Brown is going to come under some pressure here from, if not Stuart Pywell, then by Stephen Schweikart, who's almost alongside Pywell going into Druids.
Yeah, that would have been brave. He actually caught the curb partway round Druids though as well, so Schweikart's car was well out of shape, and I think he had to get off the power just to settle that down again. But Schweikart clearly carrying more speed than at least Pywell's car, maybe Ben Pearson as well, considering Stephen managed to qualify on the front row earlier today, although there was 2.3 seconds between he and Paul Cook, who remains the race leader. Here's the bright yellow car of John Brown then, falling back down to 4th. He started the race in 5th place. There's a bit of a squirm from Pywell's car in behind as the rear left got onto the curbing, and the black car was briefly out of shape but well mopped up. Another new fastest lap, but this time it's from Ben Pearson in 3rd.
Yeah, he's done a 1:50.803, so he has certainly made very good progress during the course of this race so far to get up to 3rd place. And a problem there, that's for number 71. That is the car of Sean Foley, his E46 M3 GTR. Looks like that has stopped. Try and figure out exactly where that has gone off, but 30 minutes of the race still to go, and a fight on here. There it is, just in the background there. So that's in the sort of island hairpin part of the circuit, but a battle on here for P2, Johnny.
There is, and it's developing nicely for these positions into Hislops and Knickerbrook. So Ben Pearson, having just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:50.8, that's now being echoed visibly because he's catching Charlie Dark, and to be honest, Charlie Dark's 135 car looked to have the power over other cars around it, at least in the initial stages. But now that the race is settling down, it's a 20-minute affair. We've had almost half of it, but Charlie Dark's car maybe not pushing so hard throughout this middle phase of the race. Well, he'll be pushing, but has it just lost its peak performance? Because Ben Pearson is ready, waiting to snatch 2nd place away. Won't be able to do it before the end of this lap, though, so they'll stay in the same order. And Pearson's actually slightly more distant on this occasion.
That's right, so the gap between them has gone out by 0.6 of a second on that lap to 1.4 seconds. 4th, 5th and 6th still right together though. Number 7 John Brown in the yellow car, then it's the sort of green car of number 76 Stuart Pywell, and the white and blue of number 43 Stephen Schweikart. Jason Rees, by the way, he's come through nice. Oh, and then off there, that's for number 31. And that is the car of Paul Laramie, the Chesham driver in his E46 Compact. He's gone straight on there into the gravel trap, so that's in not a particularly good position, but a change there. Stephen Schweikart, as the way into Island Bend, has gone through on the inside of Stuart Pywell there, so the man from Spalding in Lincolnshire, the BMW technician who's been racing for 5 years now, some 1300 stock car racing before this, he's now up into P5.
I reckon Laramie's car is off at Lodge. It's gone straight on into the gravel trap there and won't be left there. We're going to go safety car straight away. I kind of had half guessed that because a car in a vulnerable position, he's actually done a good job of trying to reverse out of there and then got more stuck. But what it's done is ripped the splitter off the front of BMW number 31. Yeah. And that's, bogged in furthermore into put the nose of the car into the gravel. 43 was pretty slow, Schweikart, into Hislops, but that's maybe just a reaction to the safety car boards that will be shown all the way around the racetrack. I
think so. And it looks like we've lost number 4 to the pit lane. There's certainly one in the pit lane, which is, William Lake from 15th position, one of the front runners in Class 6, having won the championship last year from the Cup class. So he's in the pit lane now and out of the race, but we're behind the safety car now. There's the Volkswagen Golf safety car that has that has headed out onto the circuit to pick up Paul Cook. So at the end of lap 4 of the race, then it's Paul Cook, number 26, that is leading. 1:35, Charlie Dark is in second. Lap 5 now being completed. 25, Ben Pearson is in third place. Number 7, John Brown is in fourth. 43, Stephen Schweikart is in fifth. 76, Stuart Pywell is in sixth place. Seventh place is number 9, which is Jason Rees. Now, he did come through from the back of the grid after only getting a couple of laps in qualifying. So Jason Rees has closed up nicely. 8th is number 37, Cavan Granger. He's leading in class M2. Aidan Vilko is 9th, second within that class. And then completing the top 10 is the first of the class 6 cars, which is number 27, Chris Blakey. And he is ahead of the treble 8 car of Andy Phillips, the local driver, 44-year-old from Nantwich, a company director, only in his 3rd season of racing. Another driver with some short oval experience. He's done some GP midgets and a national champion in that category indeed. He's done oval legends as well. And this car that he's in is a 2002 car that's been fully rebuilt by the driver for this season. So he's second in class 6. The Cup class is being led by number 68, Gareth Thomas, and that is from the 17 car in second place of Andy Pywell. So got the race continuing behind the safety car while that car is recovered up at Lodge Corner.
An awkward position for that car to have ended up, and didn't entirely see what had caused that, whether another car had been involved with Paul or whether he just ran out of brakes and then ran out of road. It does look like by the tram lines that he was fully locked up as he headed into the gravel, and sometimes the thing that your brain's telling you exactly not to do is to get off the brakes, but sometimes that's what you need to do to then reapply and make sure that you're not locked up. But it is totally reverse psychology, and you need to have that presence of mind in order to do it. Very easy for us commentators to suggest what Paul might have done. We would be no good were we behind the driving wheel of these racing cars. So, safety car remaining out, but the recovery of that BMW is ongoing. So I would imagine the rest of this lap and at least one more. And Paul Cook, who'd opened up a fair advantage over Charlie Dark, because Charlie Dark had got his hands full of Ben Pearson, and also Dark's route through to second place had been incident-packed in order to overtake John Brown and Stuart Pywell in the same process. So Dark had done a good job, but had kind of maybe reached his limit. This has brought Paul Cook very definitely back into the equation for the second place car. Question is, will Paul Cook's pace ultimately be too much? Because looking at the gap, as I say, between Cook and the second fastest car earlier today, Stephen Schweikart, it's over 2 seconds, 2.3.
Yeah, although it's not been that in the race so far, has it? It's been a bit less than that. Only 6/10 between Cook and Pearson, who's the second fastest driver out there. Pearson in the 25 car, former Janetta Junior racer, was Ben a few years ago before he went racing in the senior categories, and has raced this car now for 2 or 3 seasons. Is the car that's, I think it's being towed out rather than needing a lift, from what I understand. And it's not going to be too long, hopefully, before that car is moved to a position of safety. Hopefully we'll get away with just one more lap behind the safety car, which would give us time for probably a couple more racing laps, I would think. If we have 2 behind the safety car, we'll probably have time for one more racing lap, I would think. So everyone will be hoping that we get at least 2 more. Just a reminder, you can't fly drones at racing circuits, by the way, so if you're operating a drone here at Oulton Park today, please bring it down, please stop, and don't put it back up in the air again. They're not permitted to be used at racing circuits, so please don't fly your drone here at Oulton Park today. Right, we have 6 minutes of the race left to go, and so there's different classes here. We've got the M2s, the 6 and the Cup class as well. Say Gareth Thomas leading in the Cup class, class 6 being led by Chris Blakey. Of course, with this safety car, everyone closing up again, it could start to ignite the battles within the classes, as well as for the overall position. So we'll see how things transpire in the class battles too. Possibly we'll see a battle between Cavan Granger and Aidan Vilku for the M2 class. Neither of them have had a class win so far this season. David Heisman won both races at Brands Hatch. David Morris and Max Bunting shared the wins at Silverstone 3 weeks ago. In Class 6, it's been William Lake and Chris Blakey that have taken the wins so far this year, and 3 different winners in the Cup class, being Daniel Smith at Brands Hatch and then Gareth Thomas and Sam Walton sharing the wins at Silverstone. How's that recovery going? It's looking like they're trying to get the car behind the barrier there, Johnny.
Yeah, in the inset, the E46 Compact is being neatly reversed by 4 or 5 marshals, and thankfully the splitter's not causing too much of an issue now. It was a bigger problem when the car was in the gravel, and actually serving as just a way of dragging the car further into the stones and a hazard more than anything else, but that's been solved. The car is in a safe position now, right in front of the lodge, which is actually accommodation you can stay in, I think.
It is these days, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few leaflets to say book here now, and I presume that your view of the racetrack is absolutely superb, therefore. I've not been in, but it's the instantly recognisable part of Oulton Park, of which the corner is named after.
Iconic, isn't it? All the photos that it's appeared in over the years, certainly one of the real memorable images here at Oulton. Now, the recovery truck is off the circuit as well now. That's into the pit lane, so I would imagine they'll get the safety car lights out if they can, and it will give us time for 2 more laps of racing, I would think, if they get the safety car back around the next minute or so, which they should do. And how's that going to manifest itself? Paul Cook against Charlie Dark, as we're looking at some dark skies there over Oulton Park. Hopefully it's not as ominous as that looks. I mean, there certainly happened a few spots of rain, but it's not really been any more than that. It's the psychological rain that we hear talk of in motorsport circles, rather than anything that's going to cause anyone any dramas whatsoever. But yeah, Paul Cook has got Charlie Dark and Ben Pearson right behind him. I think Ben Pearson, if anything, might be a bigger threat than might Charlie Dark. And we'll watch out for Cavan Granger versus Aidan Vilku in Class M2, and Chris Blakey against Andy Phillips in Class 6. Safety car has already arrived in the pit lane as the leaders are turning their way through Lodge Corner. Paul Cook leading them. I think he's now accelerated away, so he's going to get the green flag waved at him with just under 3 minutes to go. So there is time for 2 more laps of Oulton Park in this BMW Car Club Racing Championship. Paul Cook, number 26, it is that leads. From in second place, Charlie Dark. Ben Pearson is third, right on his tailgate as they head their way through Oulton Corner for the first time. And they've got a decent lead over John Brown in fourth.
Yeah, John didn't get away well at all, and he's going to be swallowed up by Stephen Schweikart on the run towards Denton's. I don't know whether that was a car issue or just John being caught a little bit asleep, but the top 3 got away, bearing in mind that John is in the same class as Paul Cook and Charlie Dark and Ben Pearson, as Pearson takes a fair bit of curb on the run through Ireland. Then they have to get the car to the other side of the road for Shell Oil's hairpin, so you're ideally approaching that on the left-hand side of the circuit. Very banked corner, really sucking you towards the apex, and so important to get a good exit then out of that corner. There's a very fast right-hander which links Shell Oils to this chicane, the Britain's chicane, the left-right-left, and then a mirror image chicane over the brow is at Knickerbrook. Hislop's first, and making a break again in the early stages of this first racing lap after a safety car is Paul Cook.
Yep, so he's just easing away from the 2M235Is, the M3 in the lead of the race. And in fourth place it's Schweikart, so he's made good progress away from John Brown. Can he catch these two? There's only going to be one more lap at the end of this. And Jason Rees there, we just saw in the E92 M3, he's just got ahead into 6th position of Stuart Pywell in number 76, so he's dropped back down to 7th. He won races last season, is Stuart Pywell, but a little bit further down the orders, the grid has got a bit more competitive for 2025, which is great to see. So they're going to come through, and Paul Cook will see the last lap board this time. It goes out to him now, I can see. There's Jason Rees with the Park livery, with the garage that he runs. We just saw that on the side of his car. He will be trying to reel in John Brown before the end of this race. But there's only a lap to go. Paul Cook's just in the best lap of it, a 1:49.573.
We shouldn't lose perspective on where Jason Rees has come from. 20th position he qualified earlier today, so already up to 6th place. Steve Brown further ahead of him, but may be catchable So Rees gaining 1 spot on that lap to now be ahead of Stuart Pywell. Race leaders down at Shell Oils again. Paul Cook continuing to make a break. The gap at the start of the lap was 1.7 seconds. It's surely north of 2 seconds now. And it's deciding the other places on the podium between Charlie Dark, Ben Pearson and a rampant Stephen Schweikart, who says, well, I'm quick enough to be second, certainly, but it's these 2 cars that stand in his way. And running out of laps, i.e. this is the final tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Clock's counted down to 0 now. Meanwhile, Paul Cook getting away. He was 1.7 seconds at the start of the lap. Oh, and now we're going to see an attack here from Ben Pearson. He sort of showed his nose to Charlie Dark as they exited his now through Nickerbrook. They've gone climbing up Clay Hill, and of course they've got Schweikart with them as well. There's been some contact further back by the looks of it, because Jason Rees in the Park Garage car has gone spinning off to the infield harmlessly, as it turns out. I'm pleased to say no contact with the barriers, but Schweikart has done a good job on this lap. He's closed in 1.3 seconds on these 2, and is going to get side by side with Ben Pearson down towards Lodge Corner for the final time. He can't quite make that work. Meanwhile, Paul Cook is up to the line now, and he takes the checkered flag. There he goes in Mike Eustace's car. It's Paul Cook that takes the win. Charlie Dark is second, and third it was Schweikart in the end by 68 thousandths of a second that has done it. Fourth Pearson, fifth John Brown, sixth Stuart Pywell. And of course Jason Rees had spun. There's a good dice going on further back down the order here as well. And we'll try and pick up on that. Rees does come across the line in 7th, ahead of Cavan Granger in 8th and Aidan Vilku in 9th. They're the top 2 in Class M2. Oh, and there's contact there between the 17 and 75 cars. 75 is that of Craig Emerson. The 17 car is Andrew Pywell. That was at Druids. And they are up towards Lodge for the final time, with the wind taken out of Andrew Pywell's sails, certainly there. So this battle for sort of 16th, 17th, 18th about to come across the line, and it's taken 16th place by the number 30 car in the end, which is Matthew Smith in his 330i Coupe from Emerson, Thomas, Graham and Andrew Pywell has not in actual fact as yet come through after that incident. I think he's actually just pulled into the pit lane, so he has not made it, I'm afraid, to the checkered flag. So a little bit of excitement towards the end there, Johnny.
Battling up and down the order, wasn't there? And a fabulous run from Stephen Schweikart, considering the number of places he lost in the early stages, to then work his way back up to almost his starting position, 1 short in the end. But yes, to outmuscle Ben Pearson by 68 thousandths of a second to finish on the podium, both in category and overall, is a splendid effort. I'm sure he can afford himself a smile after that, despite the difficulties at the start of the race. Charlie Dark, 2.8 seconds away from Paul Cook, and that was about the gap in qualifying this morning, in actual fact. Cook to Dark, first to third on the grid, 2.5 seconds in the race. It's 2.8 after 9 laps, not all of them racing laps because of the safety car in the middle to deal with Paul Laramie's car at Lodge Corner.
Yeah, and just looking at the class situation as we're watching Sean Foley's car that will soon be recovered back to the pit lane. We talked about Class M2, but Class 6, that was won by Chris Blakey in the number 27 car from Andy Phillips in the treble 8 car. And third in that class was Clive Watson in the number 10. But he took third. There's our race winner, though, in the ME Auto Services liveried BMW M3, the E46 M3. Paul Cook has been racing that car so far this season, and that's his 4th win out of the 5 races that we've had so far this year. And he turns his way into Parc Fermé now with Charlie Dark. I think that's probably his best result in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, 2nd, and Stephen Schweikart in 3rd position. Ben Pearson losing that right at the end of the race by just a few hundredths of a second. He took 4th in the number 25 car. There we can see the results on screen now. 5th was number 7 John Brown, 6th was number 76 Stuart Pywell, 7th number 9 Jason Rees, 8th and winning Class M2 number 37 Cavan Granger, 9th to number 69 Aidan Vilku. In 10th position was number 27 Chris Blakey, who won in Class 6 ahead of Andy Phillips. Max Bunting, who was our M2 class winner last time out at Silverstone, he was 12th overall and 3rd in Class M2. Then it was David Aspden and Clive Watson completing the Class 6 podium. And as if we look on the next page, we'll see the yellow idents for Gareth Thomas, Ernie Graham and Andrew Pywell, are 3 cars in the Cup class this weekend. Gareth Thomas it was that took the honours by about 1.8 seconds within that class from Ernie Graham. The BMW Car Club Racing Championship is back out again just a little bit later on at around about 3:30 this afternoon, and then there's of course more BMW racing later on from the Ultimate BMW Challenge race at the end of the day as well. So shortly, hopefully, we'll be able to head down to Parc Fermé and we'll be able to hear from Kieran Mogg. I think he's just getting into position, ready to talk to the drivers, the top 3, or the class winners he may well get actually in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. Yeah, I can see Paul Cook and Cavan Granger lined up next up, so we'll head down to him now.
Thank you very much. Yes, after a very hectic and interesting race, obviously the drivers are down here. We've got the class winners and we're having still some signal issues, so I'm just going to get the drivers to come over here. So guys, can I just get you to come over here a second for me? So we'll start with Paul. So we spoke on the grid, you were confident, translated?
Well, not overly confident, but yeah, we got off the line pretty well. I was struggling to get a gap at the first few laps, but yeah, from then onwards, safety car didn't help. But yeah, brought it home in first. Thank you, Mike Eustace. Hello, Mum.
And how did you find, obviously we had a bit of a safety car period as well, you know, it was an interesting race and tricky race I think for everyone, so how did you find that?
I'm always grateful of a safety car, gives me a bit of a rest, age and size, but yeah, very enjoyable race.
Good, well congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you. We'll move on to Cavan. So we, I'll have a seat on here with you, why not? So we had a chat obviously beforehand, you were very hopeful and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Aidan pushed me all the way, give him his due. I mean, I did block him a few times in the last lap there. He was really pushing hard, but yeah, I didn't have a great start. I dropped the 3 or 4 places off the grid, got boxed in. I see everyone going by, I thought, you know what, I managed to take him back down the back straight, but I mean, in all fairness, I did outbrake him, pushed him a little bit wide, so thank you, Aidan, for giving me the space and respecting the space, but yeah, I got the points, which is what I wanted to say, yeah. Great.
Couldn't ask.
Nice old track. It's great though. It's a great track. It really works. It works hard. It really works hard. So yeah, it's good.
That's the way to end it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, race 2 like this afternoon. So we can do in it.
Absolutely. Good luck. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Just for the record, Mike's car is for sale, and it is absolutely brilliant to drive.
No for sale posts here.
They're for sale.
Okay, good to know. Right, let's move on to Chris Blakey. So, Chris, again, we had a chat, obviously. We had a chat, obviously, on the grid. You were hopeful as well,
I was hopeful.
And it worked out.
It was, unfortunately, due to a friend's demise. Paul, either his ABS gave up on him or something. He just skipped. I was looking forward to a really good race with him. So we have a cracking time racing together. But yeah, I hope he's okay. So we'll have to go seeing what we can do to get him back on the grid. So, but apart from that, it was a bit of a frantic start, a bit of a poor start. Andy Phillips got past me, fair play to him, so I had a bit of a battle with him, and then Paul went off and it was safety car came out, so it was a little bit of an underwhelming race, but yeah, we're here, we're first, we're happy days. So,
and what do you reckon for race 2?
Touch wood, fingers crossed. Just more of the same really, so just focus on my start, try and get a bit of a better start, build a bit of a better gap and just have a bit more of a comfortable race rather than a panic, trying to get past here. So yeah, fingers crossed, we're in for a good race. So.
Congratulations and look forward to seeing you later then.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all my future in-laws are all here watching me, so hello to the Harker family, they're all around somewhere, so yeah, we'll see them later today. So.
Absolutely, congratulations. Cupcakes apparently. Right, unfortunately we can't have a cupcake, so we'll speak to Gareth. Yeah. So, right in the middle of the pack back there, how was it?
Do you know what, it was a warm race, I give it that, and it was very slippery out there. I don't know if the other boys have said that, but even in qualifying I couldn't get the back end down, it was just sliding everywhere, but I made it through, and a win is good enough for me, you know. Yeah.
And how do you find the traffic management? Obviously it's quite a tight circuit, quite a technical circuit, so how do you find with all the traffic out there?
In all honesty, as it's a bigger circuit, we don't need to worry too much about the M1 class, because normally if you're on something like Brands Hatch Indy, you know, within 3 or 4 laps they're back on you, but luckily I don't know if I actually ended up getting lapped at all now. I know the safety car helped out, to be fair, but it's the first 2 or 3 laps, you're in the middle of the pack, you've just got to be looking here, there and everywhere, and just fingers crossed, hope for the best. But yeah, we've worked out well, that's good.
And obviously you got the race later on, Same again?
I hope so, yeah, 100% hope so. I mean, Andy Pywell coming in, you know, like an Invitation Cup, he really kept kept me on my toes. I missed the gear going down Cascades 4 or 5 laps in, then all of a sudden he was on the back of me. I think he had a little bit of an issue on the last lap, but I'll take that anyway it comes, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations then.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you very much.